taking over the world, one nerd at a time. Total Nerd Takeover.
Hello, Chris Gray here from tnerdt.com with another video review. Well, this will be more of an unboxing and a comparison between the iPhone 5S versus my brand new iPhone 6 Plus. So this looks like a big box, and we're going to open it up and see what's inside. Then we're going to compare it to the iPhone 5S. So let's tear into this. I can't believe I waited this long to open this. Let's do it. One. Okay, now for the best part, let's see what's inside the box. On top here, I brought my iPhone 5S with Touch ID. Put that off to the side. That's going to be for reference. I have a ruler off to the side, and here is the box for the iPhone 6 Plus. You can see there's kind of an indent here. Well, not an indent. It's actually pressed up and out, and it looks like it's the shape of the iPhone 6 Plus. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get a good shadow here so you can get an idea what I'm talking about. And I believe the iPhone 6 has a very similar box. On the side, it has the iPhone in silver. And of course, you know, Apple does a phenomenal job boxing this stuff up. I don't know, there's something about the way they do it. But let's get inside, because that's what's important, right? Let's see what it looks like. Now, this is the first time I've opened this. I can't believe I waited this long, quite honestly. Okay, let's open it up. All right, and here we have the first glimmer, or the front of the iPhone 6 Plus. And just to give you an idea of the screen size here. Yeah, that's huge. That's pretty big. The top here, I don't mind doing this now because the plastic is still on here. So I'll give you an idea here on the corner. There you go. Look at the difference. Holy mackerel. That's pretty big. I hope I know what I got myself into here. Yep, there it is. Okay. Let's take it out. There it is. Okay, here is the back. And I can definitely feel it feels pretty light. I'm not going to say it's lighter than my 5S, although it could very well be. It feels really good. It's actually not bad in my hand here. As you can see, just like that. It feels pretty good in the hand. Okay. What else is in the box? Your usual stuff. You have the earbuds, the charger, and a lightning cable. Move that off to the side. But what I'm interested is in this bad boy. Okay, so here are some of the angles. You can see they rounded the edges, and you can see where these lines are. That is to separate the antennas so that you don't cross them. If you cross the antennas, they won't work properly. They short out and they don't work, if anyone remembers antenna gate. So wow, this thing is pretty massive. Try to give you an idea here of the thinness. Turn it around this way. So it is a little, I can definitely feel it's a little bit thinner. And the thickness of the iPhone 6 Plus is 7.1 millimeters. See, we have the headphone jack, your lightning port, and here's where your speakers are. We don't have front-firing speakers still. I wish Apple would do that, but it is what it is. They still seem to be pretty good speaker-wise. We have the lock button. Is here on the side now, so it's easier to get to. You just reach your finger up and hit it. Like that. On the top, it's nice and clean. There's nothing up here. The camera bump out, which isn't as bad as I thought it was. See if you can get that little bump out right there. So that's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. On the other side here, we have the volume rockers, similar to an iPod. And we have the silent switch, which is very small. Feels pretty good. All right, there's the iPhone 6 Plus next to the iPhone 5S. And height-wise, there's at least 1.25 inches difference between the 5S and the height of the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, it is definitely the rounded edges are nice, but it's definitely as thin or a little bit thinner than the iPhone 5S. It is 7.1 millimeters thin. Now what I want to do is I want to measure the length of the iPhone 6 Plus this way. So I want to see, we got approximately at 6 inches in height. We are roughly 3 inches wide. So you're looking at 6 by 3 inches. That's pretty big compared to the regular iPhone 5S or 5, which would be 5 inches in height, and it is 2¼ inches in width. The iPhone 6 Plus has a 1920 by 1080p screen, so you're looking at a 1080p resolution. We have a 64-bit A8 processor, that's the main chip. We also have the Motion 8 coprocessor, which is nice. The camera now does 1080p at 60 frames per second. Of course, we have the regular wire, we have the wireless LTE capability with 20 different LTE bands, and they're claiming it's three times faster on Wi-Fi. That's probably if you're using the 802.11 AC. Also has a the fingerprint Touch ID, so that's phenomenal. It has the NFC chip built in. I believe the NFC chip is up here in the top, and of course that is not going to be activated until sometime in October for using Apple Pay, which I can't wait to use. It'll have iOS 8, and I just have to get it all set up and whatnot. And as for prices, since we're talking about the iPhone 6 Plus here, I'll give you the prices here. So if you want to get a 5.5-inch 6 Plus display, you can go with a 16 gigabyte in whatever color you'd like. And 16 gigabyte starts at $299 with the subsidized carrier contract. You can go with a 64 gigabyte, which is what I have here, and that goes for $399 with a subsidized contract. And for the 128 gigabyte, it would be $500, $499, basically $500 for the 6 Plus. You can get it in silver, gold, and space gray. And as you can see here, I have it in the space gray, which looks slightly different than the space gray of the 5S. So the whole thing matches with the space gray. And it's even a slightly different shade than this gray on the 5S. And you have the black and the chamfered edges. On here, we don't have chamfered edges, we just have rounded, which is cool. I think it looks pretty good. So we'll go back over here and to compare. And the screen goes almost to the very edge. It looks like it goes right to the very edge. There's a little bit of a bezel here, but not much of a bezel. I think it's about the same. It's probably about the same. The bezel is about, or the edge here is about the same thickness, maybe a little bit thinner on the 6 Plus. But look at the size of that screen in comparison. I'm going to line up the screen here, corner to corner, and there you have it. That is a pretty big difference. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because I have some language going across the top there. I have no idea what it is. Well, now it's English, so. And here it is in a large man hand. Give you some different angles here to see. So if I'm going to use it, it's going to be difficult to reach the entire screen. I'm going to have to use, if you double tap on the home button, it'll bring the top of the screen. When you're in the phone and it's unlocked and you double tap the home button, not pushing it in, just tapping the sensor, it'll bring the top of the screen down so that you can get to the top without having to use both hands. However, I don't see that's going to be an issue for me. This is a pretty massive phone. If you're used to the smaller iPhones, if you're coming from a 4, you're going to be like, wow, this thing is gigantic. This thing is enormous. If you're coming from a 5S or a 5, yeah, it's pretty big. It's a lot wider, it's bigger, but I don't see this to be an issue for me personally. I really wanted the bigger screen. So now this might be an issue for maybe people with smaller hands, being able to grip it in your hand. Might be a little bit of an issue here. But with the bigger screen, for me, it wasn't really a problem. So I'm going to change the camera angle here and give you a different perspective and see what you guys think so you can see. All right, here I've changed the camera angle so you can get a better idea of what it's going to look like in your hand. Now keep in mind, I have medium-sized man hands, okay? And I think I have longer fingers. pretty long fingers. I don't know. Either way. So in my left hand, I have the iPhone 6 Plus, the iPhone 6 Plus, and on my right hand, I have the iPhone 5S. And here I'm going to show you these rounded edges. By the way, feel really good in the hand. I don't know how to describe it. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it really does. It feels light, and it feels light for the size of the device, and it feels really thin. It almost feels like I could easily break it, but it doesn't feel cheap. I don't think it feels cheap. I think it feels like a solid product. And there's some of the some difference in thickness here. And I think a lot of it is because of these rounded edges, which is fine. So real quick, I just wanted to show you the different angles here. So in my right hand, I have my 5S, and as you can see, I can reach pretty easily in one hand all the way across the screen. Just like that, and I can even reach pretty far up. Okay, and if I unlock it, it goes to my home screen, and I can pretty much hit, you know, pretty much anything I want to pretty easily. Go all the way to the top, and all with one hand. Okay, and when I want to lock it, just bam, easy to do, done. Now with the iPhone 6 Plus, I'm going to put it in my right hand because I'm right-handed. Now I have to try to use this with one hand, so I want to hit the button and swipe, kind of grab up here. So I'm going to have to like use my fingers in the back here to kind of work the phone around as I use it, and be very careful not to drop it. So as you can see, if I want to, I try to reach, and I'm really stretching here, not quite as easily as I did with the 5S. Corner, 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 corner. That's about as high as I can go without working the phone back down. So am I going to get used to it? Absolutely. Did I want a bigger phone? Absolutely. I wanted the 1080p, I wanted the bigger battery life, and I wanted the bigger screen. So we'll have to see. I'll have to get used to the size. I'm not too worried about it. I will make it work. Go big or go home. Okay, thank you for checking out this video with the 6 Plus unboxing compared to the iPhone 5S. Perhaps this was able to give you an idea of what you want to do screen size wise if you're up for a renewal on your contract and you want to upgrade to a bigger phone. I wish I had the 4.7 inch screen here so you can get a better idea for comparison. I personally think the bigger screen is worth it, the bigger battery is worth it. The other difference, of course, from the 4.7 to the 6, I didn't mention this, but in the camera, it has optical stabilization, which is basically when you're taking video and your hand's shaky. That's basically what it does. It helps to fight that shakiness on your side, not on the person or the object that you're videotaping. So hopefully that will help you guys make a better decision. If you like the video, please rate and subscribe it down below. And don't forget, we don't just do videos here, we also do podcasts. What is a podcast? It's basically on-demand internet radio is the long and short of it. We do 6 different podcasts here at the Total Nerd Takeover Studios. We have an Apple podcast, a gaming show podcast, a Game of Thrones podcast, a movie review podcast. We have a hockey podcast, and we have our flagship show, the T-Nerd. If you want to check out our shows, go to tnrt.com or just in Stitcher or in iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. Just do a search for T-Nerd. All of our shows will show up. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time for another fun video.